We play and call it work.
Hi there, and welcome to this week's Sit and Talk with me, MiniWarGaming Kris, aka the Name Butcher. This week's Sit and Talk is with me, of course, and I'll be answering all your questions. And if there's time, then we'll be doing a sit and vault. Usually, we haven't been doing too many sit and vaults as there hasn't been a whole lot of questions asked for me. So I'll try not to take that too personally. Next week's Sit and Talk, I do believe, is with Steve, and so that's usually the rotation. I do believe is Steve is right after me. And so any questions that are for Steve, just simply have @Steve at the bottom in the comments below. And of course, if you're writing anything in response to what I say today, then of course have, @Kris. Seems pretty simple. I think we all know the drill by now. And so let's just dive right into them. This is from Captain Obvious. Kris, this is a long one. I noticed that most of your sit and talks, people mainly ask you about painting tips. So I hope some of the below mix it up a little for you. Consider leaving these for the vault, as I don't seem to ever have a sit and vault. So expand these into 30 minutes. Oof. This might be just this sit and talk might be just this question. I don't know. Do you pull many pranks around the office, or are you in the receiving end of office pranks? Not a whole lot of pranks. Usually a whole lot of shooting each other with nerves or, stuff like that. But nothing like, jumping around the corner trying to scare each other or, whipped cream in the face or, I don't know. Like typical kind of prank kind of thing. Doing water leaners. You don't do anything like that. Nothing that would destroy the office really is kind of, I guess, off limits. As far as being pranked myself, I'm sure once or twice, but like I said, not really a whole lot. There's usually not a whole lot of shenanigans going on. And if there is, then it's usually near the end of the day when everybody's kind of getting fired up to, end the day kind of thing. And, because usually a lot of the energy gets spent, like the guys, doing bat reps, they're filming all day. And so they're, being enthusiastic and, especially when we have visitors in, everybody's, bringing their A game kind of thing. And, for myself, I'm sitting in my office all day long, working on painting videos and, so usually everybody's off doing their own kind of things. And it's, usually it's like lunchtime or first thing in the morning, lunchtime, end of the day kind of thing when, we have any kind of real silly interactions or anything like that. Usually it's just a lot of us sitting around talking and yeah. And then sometimes, the Nerf darts come out or the Nerf guns and everything like that, and everybody starts shooting and, boys. Number 2, how often, roughly, do people in the office come to you for advice? Whether it is painting advice, life advice, wise old man wisdom, with you being just over 21. Smiley face. With me being, I'm not the oldest guy in the office. I was for a while. I was the oldest cat in here. Not no more, thankfully. So, those reins are, passed on to somebody else now. And, so I don't get to say I'm the oldest guy around anymore, which is fine by me. And as far as painting advice, the boys usually come to see me every once in a while. Quirk will ask me about something. Steve will ask me about something. Steve seems to be more asking me about particular kind of things, certain effect on something, things like that. Quirk will just kind of, shoot, color scheme ideas back and forth. Justin, sometimes, he'll want a little bit of input as far as, what he's working on. But as far as like, say, for example, like Lee doesn't really come to me for questions as far as, painting. Lee's a pretty competent painter and he's been painting a long time. So, I don't think I don't think he feels he needs to ask any particular kind of question. And if he did, it's probably just kind of slipped my mind if he has asked me anything. Rob will ask me a few questions, like painting the camouflage or zombie flesh or, basically anything that he's working on, of course. But like Matter Day never asked me for painting questions, mainly because they don't paint. So, why would they, right? Oh, and Josh too. Question here or there. But Josh doesn't do a lot of painting either. So it's really whoever's doing a lot of painting. It's usually a lot of Steve and Quark that usually end up asking a lot of questions pertaining to technique or color scheme or what have you, right? But yeah, it's usually one of those two. Number 3, you've been painting consistently each day for us Vault members, and it is very much appreciated. Thank you. I know you previously mentioned that some years ago you did take a large break from painting. So, do you ever feel tired on some days of painting? Have you ever got to a point in the day where you just had to put down your brush and go watch some of the staff bat reps now and again? Yeah, it happens. It happens a lot. Anybody who's been following my stuff, knows I've been fighting painter burnout for a while, and I know I get asked the question, how do you combat painter burnout? And so from my own experience, it's constantly trying to find new challenges, new things, new challenges, try and keep things fresh. And that's what I try and do. And some days it is, I work 9 to 5 and I come in and I sit down at my desk and, try and try and get fired up to paint something. I'm not really that kind of guy that, can sit down and just hammer through the process like that. I've kind of got to, I've got to feel inspired. The artist in me says, no, you got to get inspired for that. And so, yeah, usually it's a struggle at times. Do I feel like I really need a break from painting right now? Like, do I need to take a year-long break or anything like that? Not really, not necessarily. Like I said, it's keeping things fresh. It's keeping things new. And that's what keeps the painter burnout at bay is finding new challenges, going to, new models, new technique, new paint sets, new, things like that, and new paints, and, trying out different techniques. It's usually for me, a lot of times it's new colors and new techniques and, things along that line, my time working here though, yeah, this is the longest I've ever gone, I think, consecutively through the years of painting, through my entire lifespan of painting since I was a young lad. I think this is, because usually I'd go maybe 1 or 2, maybe a year, take a couple months, take a year, a couple months, things like that, right? Where you take a long break and then go back to painting, and take a long break, go back to painting, and stuff like that. And I think this is really the longest stretch I've ever done, where I've been continuously painting every day, pretty much every day, because again, painting miniatures is no longer my hobby. It's my job now. And, I do love my job, but, some days it's really hard to get fired up to get something creatively done. Some days you feel like just phoning it in. Some days you're really inspired and really want to get something done, and you're like, yeah, that's going to be really cool. And I think it's going to make a really great quick tip. And then, people go, well, it was all right, And then I'll do something that was, I phoned in. I was half awake and I really wasn't thinking. And I did something and people go, that was a great quick tip. That was really informative. And, I was like, so shows what I know. Who knows? But anyway, yeah, as far as the burnout though, I try and keep it fresh and consistent and are, refreshing and challenging. That's really what it is. It's challenging. It's keeping it interesting. And for those that shy away from, I guess, a challenge, well then, yeah, you probably, put your brushes down sooner than facing up to the challenge and, and beating it or solving it, But yeah, Number 4, do you organize the content on your painting tips based on what people suggest, or does Matt and Dave come in now and again and give you a specific schedule to work off of, like the Legion group tips and the Silver Tower? No. Ever since I started doing quick tips, it has been completely my domain as far as what I'm producing. My only criteria for MiniWarGaming is that I have to produce a certain number per week, and as long as I meet that quota, everybody's happy. The vault members are happy, Matt and Dave are happy, I'm happy, everybody gets paid, and yeah, so it's all good. So yeah, but as far as what kind of quick tips I'm doing, like the Silver Tower. The Silver Tower was completely on a whim. Somebody had asked the question, about doing the entire Silver Tower, and I posted it to the vault members. I asked the question in the vault. I said, would you guys like to see a bunch of these Silver Tower models all done up as quick tips? And it got 50 thumbs up. I would take 50 thumbs up in the vault. I mean, I take that as a big yes, and so that's why I start trucking through it. Same thing with the Space Marines in the 30K color schemes. Same kind of thing. You guys want to see this? So kept on trucking through them and showing different techniques and stuff like that. And that took it took a long time to get through all those guys, because it's not a simple matter of just kind of doing the color scheme, but it was also showing doing the effects or painting the insignias or doing damage or this and that and OSL and stuff like that, right? So tried to keep it fairly interesting. I think the Space Marine one was I think it was really fun. It was really good. I enjoyed that one. Each one was kind of different. The Silver Tower set, for the most part, yeah, has been a lot of fun. There's still a couple guys left to do for that, so we'll see. But yeah, right now I've been on a string of just kind of doing regular old kind of quick tips, just kind of answering questions, because again, I do have a big backlog of just kind of regular kind of questions. So I mean, it's not like I come into the office and I have no idea what to do for a quick tip, because I can either pick back up on Silver Tower, or I can pick something off my shelf, or I can go back to my master list of questions, because every time you guys leave a comment in those videos asking to see something in particular for quick tips, I put it down in my list every time you guys. So feel free to ask your questions at the end of those videos. Kris, what about seeing this? What about seeing this? What about seeing this? I might not get to it that week. I might not get to it that month, but I will get to it eventually. And the more interesting the question, of course, the more likely I'll tackle it the sooner, because again, trying to keep the burnout away. So, yeah, I'm going to tackle the more interesting things more often. Where are we? Number 5. Did you take part in Dave's Ranger movie and or assist in any form of production, etc.? I helped with the sound on the first part, the Drewston Chronicles. I helped out with sound on a couple days of the shoot. I can't remember who else was supposed to be doing the sound, but somebody else wasn't able to, and so then I was asked to do it, and I said, whatever, and I'll do it. And it was good for a laugh or two. But as far as the production that was going on for this summer, no, I had absolutely zero input and anything like that in there. So yeah, no, I have nothing to do with the movies, other than a little teensy sound credit on the first Drewston Chronicle thing. But that's it. The rest of the MiniWarGaming crew, mainly Steve, Cork, and Josh, say that most nights they're either eating or painting and building, or both. More models ready for further bat reps. But I know you don't take part in bat reps, so what do you do with your evenings? Sit and enjoy family life, or are you a gamer beating on all the little kids? It's both, really. I mean, I have a family. I have a wife. I have a son and a daughter. They're getting older now, so they don't require so much mommy daddy time. They want to do their own things and things like that. You know, so I'm home for the evenings usually. You know, sometimes I'll stay after work and, you know, hang out with the boys and, you know, do whatever. And gaming, I do a fair amount of gaming. A couple hours every night, not every night, but a couple hours usually. Usually as soon as I get home from work, especially if I've been kind of just zonked all day, I just want to go play a couple hours. And I've been playing a lot of World of Tanks, a lot of Battlefield 1, but World of Tanks. World of Tanks is just kind of more my speed. I can kind of just pick it up, you know, do a round, either get blown up right away or not, and then just put it down and then, you know, do something else, you know. Lately, I've been also working on my Space Marine helmet for cosplay, and so I've been trying to stay jazzed about that, and, you know, and keep going through that because, you know, I've talked about doing that thing for a while. And of course, painting. I've been working on I still have to finish my Wraith Knight. I haven't finished my Wraith Knight, so I still have my own little personal projects on the go, and so yeah. And there's a lot of personal projects. I've got a lot of Eldar to finish here. Holy man, you know, it's a lot. But yeah, but really the first two are really more. It's like those usually take up most of my time in the evenings. Is the family, because we'll go to the show and, you know, we have dinner together. Every day we have dinner together. You know, I do play a little bit of video games, or I'll watch my son or my daughter. My daughter loves playing Overwatch. My son loves playing Siege, not Counter-Strike Siege, Rainbow 16 Siege, and he loves playing Battlefield 1. And what the heck is the other game that he plays? Oh, the new Modern Warfare. Well, the Modern Warfare 2 remastered, which is really nice too, by the way. Although it kind of stinks that you have to pay like $90 for a game that was, you know, out like 10 years ago, and the new game it's kind of generic really by today's standard, because I mean, all these games they all look the same to me. I mean, you know, Titanfall and Call of Duty, and, you know, they all look the same. There's all this sci-fi kind of stuff, but anyway. Video game discussion. We go on to a video game discussion, you know, for hours. Anyway, but yeah. Number 7, GW, including Forge World, have recently been bringing out quite a lot of new stuff, especially Chaos. Especially giving Chaos the love that they desperately needed for quite some time. Has any of the new stuff caught your eye? Anything stood out to you? As far as Chaos and Forge World stuff, really like the Thousand Sun stuff is really kind of caught my eye. I mean, Magnus, that's a fantastic looking model. Am I dying to paint it up? No. Like when I first saw the model, it was really, really cool, and I liked it. But I think that's really one of the first times the model I was just like, do I need to dive in and paint that model? No, the last model I felt like, man, it would be great to paint that, is the Sylvanian Ariel. She's standing on the beetle, you know, for Fantasy or for Age of Sigmar. I still want to paint that model. That model is fantastic. And but yeah, Magnus, no, I mean, it's a great looking model. Don't get me wrong, it's a great looking model. But yeah, and Thousand Suns, I mean, like I like the look of them, but I'm not really fired up to paint them. They're not really my thing. I mean, Nurgle's my god, right? So, yeah, I'm, you know, meh. And as far as, yeah, like the Forge World stuff like that, the 30K Thousand Suns now are very, very cool. I like doing them in that ruby red color scheme. You know, the metallic red is really, really cool. And the airman for that he's really, really cool. I think that's a cool looking model. Cool looking model. But yeah, so. Number 8. I know you've mentioned Kingdom Death models in the past as being quite nice. I've collected a few and certainly haven't been disappointed in the quality. Have you ever gotten around to painting these models? Have any favorites from them? There's lots. There's lots from their collection I really, really like. Some of them I could pass on. I mean, you know, like they're some of them are just like they're like a lot of the monsters. You know, I mean, they're really kind of wacky, and you know, they're all right, But I mean, okay, the only one I really like is like the elk. What are these? He's kind of like a stag or something, I think. That one's kind of cool. But no, like their pinup series are really, really cool figures. And what I like is they just kind of push, you know, push at good taste, I suppose. But good art will always push boundaries. Good art will always push boundaries, and so that's where I applaud the creators of that. That, you know, they had the cojones to produce a line like that. You know, in this day and age where, you know, a day and age where we want to have, you know, more female input into this wargaming. You know, where we want to have a very inclusive kind of environment, and yet, you know, this kind of stuff could make people very uncomfortable. And so, yeah, it's just very interesting. You know, and again, like I said, I applaud them for having the cojones to produce a line like that, because you could really generate some real negative press from for their game and for their miniatures and for what they're depicting, and, you know. And for those of you who aren't sure what these models are, if you're not old enough or mature enough, I should say, to be looking at these, then you shouldn't be looking at them, because, yeah, they're only for the mature. I'm not saying what age group that is. I'm just saying mature. Number 9. Have you had any experience with painting terrain? Have you built or painted any of the terrain in the studio? Or is that primarily left to Adam? These days, it's primarily left to Adam and Lee. If the project has to get done fairly quickly, or if it's a small project, or if it's a one-off kind of thing, it seems like it gets dumped into Lee's lap. Otherwise, if it's a fairly large, you know, we got to have like, you know, 20 pieces for the tabletop that all match and everything like that. Then it goes to Adam. I've done terrain for many, many years. If you go back into the vault, into the terrain section, you'll see there's a few tutorials done by me. There was a factory, a kind of not really a Bavarian style house, but it was a kind of a steampunkish kind of house I did. There was tank traps. There was trees. There was a few other ones in there. But yeah, they're like 4 years old, 5 years old, so you have to go back quite a ways. That was when I first started with MiniWarGaming, and that was where we were still trying to find the right formula for, you know, what kind of painting videos and how many painting videos, and, you know, because, you know, it was taking a while to get, you know, beginning to end kind of videos done, right? You know, it could take a week to paint up a model and then a week to edit, and so then you only have maybe 5 videos. But again, we used to do things a little bit differently then too, so who knows if that system could have worked out or not. But anyway, Quick Tips is where it's at right now, and as long as you guys keep asking, you know, about Quick Tips, I mean, I'll still keep producing. I'll still keep answering the questions as long as you guys can still keep asking questions. And I figure that there's a bazillion questions out there, so I should be at this for a while. until I can't answer them no more, until I can just kind of go, oh, I don't know what to talk about. But as far as terrain, yes, I've got tons of experience creating terrain. I used to do a lot of our gaming tables with my club and everything like that back in the day, and yeah. So, but again, for me, video is done by me for terrain. They're very, very old. You have to dig deep in the vault to find those, and so. Yeah, but feel free, have a look, because I think my the one I had the most fun with at the time was the steampunk house, and I think I sold that piece online. I think, I can't remember. Anyway, number 10.1. Holy man, we're gonna get into the point ones now. What is your favorite Primark model from Forge World Character Series? Currently, the favorite Primark model would probably be Korax. I like Korax. It's a very dynamic one. And then probably Conrad. And then probably somebody like Gilliman. I like Gilliman because he's ultramarine, and I mean his whole pose is all very, you know, ultramarine. He's standing there, he's, you know, looking very heroic, right? Whereas like Korax, he's coming flying right in, and he's the whole bird of prey kind of thing, and I think that's really, really cool. Yeah, those are probably my favorite sculpts to date. Horse is kind of cool until they get the Emperor. Until they get the Emperor and Rogol Dorn. I got to see what Rogol Dorn looks like, right? Because immediately I kind of imagine Rogol Dorn kind of looking a bit more like Gilliman, in the armor department, and how the kind of, I don't know, kind of pristine kind of look to them. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense, they all have a clean kind of appearance to them, and I imagine Rogol Dorn kind of having that clean kind of appearance, like Gilliman. So, yeah, but yeah, until Gilliman comes out, yeah, and of course if he's in a cool pose or not. Leman Russ, I was a little disappointed in Leman Russ. I don't know, something about his backpack. I wasn't 100% behind on. There's a part on his backpack that just, the way it looks, it's sculpted, and it looks like it's just kind of flat, and it doesn't sit right, and so, yeah. No, 10.2, what is your favorite non-primary model from Forge World Character Series? I don't have one. Because I'm not that heavily read in the Horus Heresy stuff, so I don't really know who those characters are, and so, yeah. I've read a ton of, books like by Dan Abnett and stuff like that, but I have not read the Horus Heresy stuff. And of course now, as those books just keep piling up, it's like, holy man, you're gonna fall way behind. And so, yeah, I'm way behind my Gaunt's Ghost. I didn't even finish Gaunt's Ghost. There's, I think, the last 2 books I still have to finish. So, yeah. Number 11, Rogue One will be out by the time you read this. Have you seen it? Yes, I have seen it. I've seen it twice, 2 times. 1, 2. I've seen it twice. As the day I'm recording this. If so, what are your thoughts? Without any spoilers. Or, if you haven't seen it, will you go see it? Well, I have seen it, and what are my thoughts on it? It is what everything that is wonderful about Star Wars is. Other than a Jedi fight in it. No spoilers, but I mean, you obviously knew there was no Jedis in this, right? So, but I mean, we have this fantastic land battles. Like the first half of the movie is kind of like the Dirty Dozen, where they're gathering up their troops and finding these characters and all these scoundrels and stuff like that to go do this one suicidal crazy mission, right? Really, really awesome. And then you get into the battles. And the battles and the land battle, and I like how, it's really, it gives you the sense that this is a war. The other Star Wars movies don't really give you the sense of war. There's battles and stuff like that, but it doesn't give you a sense that this is an ongoing conflict. Like when they're inside in the old Jedi, when they're in Jeddah. You get the sense that it's an Imperial occupation, right? There's Imperial soldiers all places, and they're muscling people into the hallways. Let's see your ID cards, and stuff like that. And that's stuff that's indicative to an occupation, and it conveys that, right? And then of course you get into the fights and and their ambushes and stuff like that. And then of course the space battle. The space battle was fantastic in that. And it ended how I expected it to end, which was great and fantastic, and was the most logical way they could end it. And not just because it was the way I imagined it would end, but it made the most sense the way it ended. And so I was happy with it. And yeah, it was great. It was I really have, I would probably have to watch it a couple more times to really, really, really digest any kind of flaws that were in it. But I mean, the unfortunate thing about it, the unfortunate thing about the movie is that it raises the bar. It raises the bar for other Star Wars movies now, and even even these other anthology movies coming out. It raises the bar, and so I'm afraid that we're gonna have Star Wars movies that are probably still gonna suck. but we're gonna have some really great ones out there as well. You know, I mean, like the Han Solo movie is supposed to be the next like anthology movie coming out. That might suck. You know what I mean? But Han Solo is such a beloved character that this movie just might flat out suck. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, that's my initial thoughts on Rogue One without trying to spoil anything. Number 12, what happens to all the models you complete in tutorials? Do you put them back where you found them and see how long it takes to someone to notice the models, the models changed, or they put aside in the spare box just accumulating? A bit of both, actually. I have like a shelf over here where it's just like, it's like the Island of Lost Toys kind of thing. It's just like these half painted models and stuff like that. You know, it's a Space Marine who, you know, half his armor is painted and he's rusted and he's got his insignia painted, and you know what I mean. There's just all sorts. Like I said, it's the Island of Lost Toys, and then of course in the collections, yeah, there's a little smattering here and there of you know, models that have enhancements, you know, different effects applied to them, and you know, things like that. I was laughing because the one bat rep Matt was doing, and he had the Space Wolf, or the Scouts that are in the MiniWarGaming colors, and I had done all the Scouts backpack or their cloaks. I had done them all in different kind of camo patterns, and it was just kind of funny to see them all, you know, from the tutorials. And here they all are in a battle report, you know, just running around, different kind of camos on their backpacks and stuff. And so, yeah, there's a various amount of models that I've shown in videos, and yeah, and there is some models that are just sitting on my shelf, you know, incomplete. And that's why, that's also another thing, like the Horse Heresy models that I did all the chapter colors. The Silver Tower, I've done all those models. Those are really different because I was bringing those up to more of a finished standard. Now, most of them are not finished, but I was bringing most of those models up to a finished standard. Other than, if I could show you guys, there's a shelf that's got, it's just, you know, a series of models that are all just, you know, like a face with, like, you know, red around it. And, you know, I mean, it's Island of Lost Toys. That's the only way I can describe it. It's Island of Lost Toys. Number 13, do you travel much, or have you previously traveled a lot? If not, why so? If so, what were your favorite locations and any special memories? Well, previously, a little less than a year ago, I went to Adepticon, which was my first convention ever, like wargaming convention. Well, not my first convention ever, but yeah, my first wargaming convention, because a couple years ago I went to Comic-Con Toronto, and that was a lot of fun. But I went to Adepticon last year, and that was really great. I'm almost certain I'm going again. Yeah, so. But that was about it. Other than traveling, you know, I mean, seeing the sights, you know, it would be fun to go to different towns, you know, meet up people and, you know, maybe have a game with them. Kind of like the reverse of what we do at MiniWarGaming, because like we're MiniWarGaming, we're situated in one place, you know, we got all our studios here and everything like that. And then people from all over the place come and play us, right? But it'd be kind of fun if we did the opposite, where we went out and played people. You know, people who couldn't make the journey would go out and play a couple games against, you know, a group of them, or, you know, something like that. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I think something like that would be fun. But otherwise, yeah, I don't do a whole lot of traveling, mainly because, you know, Monday to Friday, I mean, like I don't miss work. So, you know, I'm pretty steady Monday to Friday kind of guy. And of course, Saturdays I do my Way of the Brush. So it's 6 days out of the week that I'm busy. So basically, I only have one day off where, you know, I'm kind of free to do whatever I want. And yeah, so busy guy. Not a whole lot of time, especially for concerts and stuff like that. I'd like to catch more concerts. I hope some of those questions spiced up your sit and talk a bit. All the best and happy painting, Captain Obvious. And so, yeah, that was that one question from Captain Obvious was enough to do a whole sit and talk. And so there is a few more questions left to answer, and so I'll be doing those in the Sit and Vault. And so just join me in the Vault. And if you are not a Vault member, then you can sign up for a free 7-day trial of the Vault. Of course, if you want to see painting tutorials, which I do, you'll get the silver membership, and you know, give it a shot. And you'll probably really like it because it's awesome. And you know, it allows, you know, to do things like this, to have this kind of stuff going on in the background. Like I have no idea. I left this wide up to Rob as to what is going on back here. So, you know, could be anything. It could be like dinosaurs from the 1930s. You know, it's like Godzilla playing in the background or something. I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. But anyway, happy wargaming, and we'll see you guys next time. Again, remember, it is Steve for the next Sin Talk. I do believe it's Steve. If not, to whomever. No, it's I'm pretty sure it's to Steve.